In the heart of Chicago stood a name that carried weight, Alexander Crown, a man whose empire of luxury car showrooms stretched across states. He was known for his precision, control, and relentless drive for perfection. Every deal, every number, every decision, all of it flowed through his command. To outsiders, Alexander was the image of success, but inside something had started to trouble him. He had heard whispers, quiet complaints from customers, stories that his staff treated people differently based on appearance or wealth. At first he ignored them. After all, rumors often come with envy. But then one evening, as he sat in his penthouse overlooking the glittering skyline, he thought of where he had come from. The days when he was just a mechanic in a small garage, covered in grease, working late nights just to keep his dream alive. He realized he had lost touch with that man, the one who once believed that kindness was more valuable than gold. The next morning, Alexander made a decision that would change everything. He opened an old wardrobe and found a dusty black bag tucked away in the corner. Inside it was his old mechanic's uniform, faded, worn, and full of memories. Without telling anyone, without his driver or his expensive watch, he put on that uniform, wore a plain jacket, and took a deep breath. That morning, the billionaire vanished, and in his place, a simple man walked out into the streets. He boarded a city tram, the kind he hadn't taken in decades. Around him, life moved in quiet motion. People reading newspapers, some lost in thought, others half asleep. He watched their faces, the tiredness, the small smiles, the quiet worries. For the first time in years, he wasn't Alexander Crown, the mogul. He was just another face among millions. When the tram stopped near one of his biggest showrooms, Crown Motors South, the building stood tall and shining, its glass front sparkling under the morning sun. The golden C emblem on the wall gleamed like a crown, a symbol of success. Yet Alexander felt a strange heaviness. Behind all that glass and polish, something human had been lost. He entered through the main door. Nobody recognized him. The receptionist barely looked up. A salesman gave him a quick glance, then looked away, continuing to scroll on his phone. When he approached one of the cars, a sleek black Aston, another employee frowned. "Sir, those models are quite expensive. Perhaps you should look at something more affordable," the man said, his tone cold, dismissive. Alexander said nothing. He only smiled faintly and nodded. He walked around the showroom, hearing quiet laughter from a group of employees who clearly found his appearance amusing. Not once did anyone ask if he needed help, and except for one. A young woman approached him, her voice soft yet professional. "Good morning, sir," she said. "Would you like me to show you around? Maybe help you find what you're looking for?" Her name tag read, Sophie Lane. Alexander noticed the sincerity in her eyes, no arrogance, no fake smile, just genuine kindness. She spoke to him as if he truly mattered. For 30 minutes, she patiently answered his questions. She offered him a cup of coffee. She even smiled when he said he used to be a mechanic himself. Not once did she make him feel small. Later, Alexander thanked her quietly and left. No one else even noticed him go. The next morning, the atmosphere in Crown Motors South was different. The employees were told to gather in the main conference room. A black luxury car pulled up outside, and out stepped Alexander Crown, this time in a tailored gray suit, his sharp presence commanding silence. The same employees who had ignored him yesterday now stood frozen. When the lights dimmed, the big screen behind him flickered on. And there it was, the security footage from the previous day. Every rude glance, every smirk, every ignored greeting, captured on camera. The room went silent, tension thick as stone. Alexander's voice was calm, but his eyes burned with disappointment. "Yesterday," he began, "a man walked into this showroom. He was treated not as a customer, but as someone unworthy of your time. That man was me." Gasps filled the room. Heads lowered. The same manager who had mocked him now stared at the floor. "This company was built on respect," Alexander continued. "I started with nothing. I worked with my hands, earning every cent honestly. And today, I see that we've forgotten the very thing that made us who we are, humanity." He paused, letting his words sink deep. Then, with a steady voice, he added, "Those who laughed yesterday, those who disrespected another person, your time here ends now." A few employees were dismissed that day. But among those who remained was Sophie Lane, the young consultant who had treated him with dignity when no one else did. Alexander walked up to her and said, "You reminded me of what this company should stand for. From today, you'll lead our customer service department." Sophie couldn't believe it. Tears filled her eyes, but Alexander only smiled. "Don't thank me," he said softly. "You earned this." Weeks passed. Then months. The change was visible. The cold stares were gone, the fake smiles replaced by warmth. Visitors now entered to find not salesmen, but real people. Listeners, helpers, advisors. Customers from across the city began to notice. "There's something different about Crown Motors," they said. "It feels human." Alexander visited often, quietly walking among his staff, watching them listen to families choosing their first car, seeing them smile as they handed over keys. Every visit reminded him why he started in the first place. One evening, as the sun dipped behind the skyline, Alexander stood by the showroom window. He saw Sophie talking to a customer, smiling, patient, honest. He felt peace, something he hadn't felt in years. He whispered to himself, "Luxury isn't in the cars we sell. It's in the respect we give." That night, as the city lights glittered across the streets of Chicago, people spoke not just of Crown Motors, but of Alexander Crown, the businessman who rediscovered humanity within success. His story became an example, a reminder that true greatness isn't about wealth or image, but about how you treat people when no one's watching. So, dear viewers, tell me, if you were in Alexander's place, would you still remember the value of kindness? If this story touched your heart, hit the like button and share your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe, because more stories like this are waiting for you.